Good day. Hope you're enjoying the movie. I put on some Beetlejuice for you. What this video is hopefully a redemption for my last crafts video, where I made this futuristic kind of looking swirly jewelry stand. Pretty abstract, but practical. That video came out really experimental because I wasn't planning to make it a DIY video. For this video, I want to actually properly show the process and my thinking process as I'm doing it. And what we're going to be working on is this sort of dagger. So actually, this sort of dagger. Now, what we're going to be making is not at all going to look anything like this. This is Lego. This doubles as a sort of narrative piece for the lore I'm crafting on my Instagram account. I make videos on Instagram which are based on this sort of non-linear story about a dude who's discovering these projection powers where he can project to other worlds and see other versions of himself, and those versions see him. But he's also fated to some alien guy who lives on a completely other planet, and he's trying to figure out what the connection is, and then he's trying to learn their magic system. I'll make a video at some point explaining all of that because it won't make much sense. All you really need to know is I'm making a cool dagger to summon magic. So what I'm gonna do is this crossguard here, this sort of horizontal piece, I'm going to 3D print it, and it's going to hold this crystal, which is this. This is an actual little piece of amethyst crystal, and when you put a light to it, it actually has this really cool shine. And then for the handle, the grip, and the blade itself, I want to take a kind of naturalistic style. So literally just have a stick, which I carve into a blade. Maybe add some engraving. Oh, I love this scene, by the way. Hope you enjoyed this proper little intro, and let's get into making the damn thing itself.
It's showtime.
Let's jump straight into Blender. I will actually give you a little tutorial if you aren't familiar with 3D modeling. And hey, it's pretty easy. It's not intimidating at all. What we're gonna do is make a sphere. To get the initial shape here, we can pull some points here by scaling them out like that. I will quickly add a bit more resolution. Then jumping into sculpt mode, I can do a little divot, do a little modeling drawing like that. There's this really good grab tool which lets you kind of make it wonky and grab it, move it. There's this other variation which kind of really drags it out. When it gets really weird, like here, you just do a quick remesh, and so then that becomes more proper geometry that you can continue deforming. So a little bit of this.
Spice. And everything nice.
And we're about done. I made a hole here, approximately the dimensions of the crystal. This is a little hole where the light will go. Then I also have this little hoop, this loop, where I want to have some chain or something where I can connect some stuff to hang on it. For the cap in this backing, I will just use some nail gel to seal it up when I have the light in. I also added, of course, some rough texturing to make it look maybe wood or some sort of stone. But essentially I'll go through another process that you don't need to see, but I will essentially prep it to be printed, and that's what you're gonna see next. I actually have to be out of my house this minute because I've only got so much time to actually work on this process in between going to work. I'm just gonna put this on print, go to work, and pray that it hasn't failed when I'm back. I finished work. Left at 2 p.m. It's now 12 a.m., so I was away for 10 hours. And I'm sorry to say, I think this one's gonna fail. Some of the supports are broken off. They didn't print a while ago, it seems. There is a risk with these sorts of things that the screen could actually break. But who knows, maybe this will be salvageable. Maybe it will print something. Psych! Printer's broke. It's not the screen, but the film that was holding the resin, it's punctured and it leaked onto the screen, and now it's stuck to the screen. I don't know how I would scrape that off. I need a new tub to hold the resin. Those are replaceable parts. It costs money. It does. It does, would you guess? Cost money. Okay, so here's the ball sack that printed. I actually don't know what exactly went wrong because it just looks really wrong. I'm not that upset because I actually have one printed anyway. Hold on. This is obviously not the same color as that, because for this I was using a new type of resin and I was playing with new settings and maybe something messed up in that regard. This was printed using standard resin. This version that I'm holding right now is actually a bit older. I printed it in 2 parts. As you can see, there's a middle split here, but I was struggling to get the crystal in there and having to drill the hole here because there wasn't a hole initially. I was kind of like, damn, I'm like really messing this thing up. Maybe I should just reprint it. And that's when I decided to do this video and reprint that piece as a whole without making the split. As I can see, that didn't turn out. To sweeten that sour note just a little bit, I want to share with you a project that did work out. And it was my first little project when I got this printer. If you're familiar with my intro, I hope you are, or my channel banner here on my laptop, and actually my little icons, file icons, are those cubes as well. And so I wanted to literally just make these physical. And I've got them right there. Yup. I've painted them in this sort of chromey shape-shifting color. You can't really tell, but it does go into a kind of purple in certain lighting. It has the pour here for the P. Here's sleepy for the S. There's like some diffused acrylic backing in here that I cut out and stuck in there. So it diffuses the light. So it kind of depends how far away it is. It's pretty cool. This platform itself, I just made out of clay. But the glyphs on here, I did print out and I kind of pushed them into the clay to leave these indentations. These glyphs also are a part of the Poor Sleepyhead lore, which I will explain in the future. But yeah, I just keep them on here as a little addition to my desk. So with this project, you know, there were also ups and downs. I printed a few variations of these cubes initially, and I actually ended up printing it like a few more times until I got it to where it needed to be. So with this project, current project, I'm not giving up on it. I'm determined to make it work, and I'll show you how that one is turning out right now. I've got some good news. I actually got it off the screen. It does have like some scratches, but honestly the screen replacement is like the most expensive part. I think the screen can have like a few bumps and scratches. This is kind of just turning into a video of me troubleshooting, but I want you to see all aspects of what goes into making something. I also bought a heating belt because I believe one of the other issues was the fact that the resin was too cold. So I will give it one more try, and if that fails again, I will just have to refurbish my first prototype, which would be a bit finicky, so I'm hoping this will work out.
Well, I'm back. I feel real good about myself.
Here's how the print turned out. Came out pretty good. All I'm gonna do now is try to fit the crystal in. Actually, the hole is still too small, so I'll just do a bit of drilling. I've got this safety mask and these glasses because I don't want to be inhaling this resin. Since I'm gonna be using this tool to drill it, it's like a rotary tool. It's got all these bits in here, which will make it really easy to cut, sculpt, polish, sand. How cool do I look? Okay, so I made this cavity a tad larger so that this crystal can like roll around in here. And that's important because I'm gonna eventually wrap it in baking paper so that when I spray paint this resin piece, I don't spray paint the crystal, and I won't be able to remove the crystal because I will use nail gel to kind of add these pieces that will like hug the crystal. The light fits really nice in here. It just slots in. I will use the same nail gel to like cover this up and have just like some removable thing. It looks really cool when it's lit up, but I will save it for the final reveal. And my next step that I want to work on is actually finding the handle piece and the blade. So I'll take you on a little journey with me. So I took a trip to my local park in search of some wood, some branches. I also just appreciated slowing down a bit, so I just enjoyed my time, enjoyed the scenery. I found this cool branch, looked like a katana, but I was interested in the handle with the kind of twist. though the wood was dilapidated, so I found another one which has a really cool swirl, so I ended up using that one. I continued on for the search of the blade portion. I came upon this purple blossoms branch, and I sawed that shit off. Unfortunately, I did suffer the blossom curse, which turns your branch into a fucking hand, or your hand into a branch. Fuck. But I think it'll work really well. Like, I love how this grips. This like feels exactly like it's made for my hand to grip like this. Of course, this bit I will just like cut off. I want this handle to be kind of skewed off to the side because I'm kind of basing it on some sketches I did a while back, 9 months ago maybe at this point. And in that sketch, I kind of had this idea of it kind of being skewed. Like, I don't want it to just be a straight blade because it's not necessarily used as a blade. It's kind of a ceremonial piece. And with this twist here, I think that does the job, you know, it's kind of skewed. And then I have this hanging bit here, will not like interfere with my hand holding it. And I also actually decided on what I'm gonna hang on it. It's this piece of amber, which I bought in Lithuania. And I'm gonna add like an extra chain, but I'm gonna have this piece of amber dangling off, which I think will complement the wood nicely. However, this blade portion, I'm not sure how I feel about it. Okay, so it's actually been quite a while since I got to work on this project properly. I've been having a pretty rough few weeks, but I did get to start working on these just a little bit. I shaped them up to be the right dimensions. I've already started sanding the handle. I even attempted to make the blade, but I mean, this looks so small. It's so thin. I mean, this was just kind of like I gave up at some point, kind of cutting into it, having it as a sort of test piece to see how like engraving would look. Either I will go look for a thicker branch and like try to make it nice and all, but first thing I need to do is working on cutting this up a bit more. Okay, I filmed like 2 seconds of that because I'm actually thinking I don't want to show you what I'm doing because I'm not professional. I'm not trained to use these things. This part of the process isn't pretty, and I don't know if it's worth showing much because I will just be going like hammer and nail at this thing basically. It feels like one of those really intrusive surgeries, like when they have to remove your bones or something, they literally take drills and hammers and they just go at it. That's not something you need to see. Okay, so actually I just fully took this whole knob off here because I realized, I mean, once it's on here, it really is still just gonna be so bulky, so that whole thing just had to go. It's gonna blend maybe like into this plane here. I mean, you should have seen me. This, some of this, of course some of this as well. This is helping me a lot, but it fucking looked ridiculous. I will not be filming me doing this type of shit. But yeah, I'll show you the pretty work. As you can see, I'm showing off the finished silhouette of the handle. Sorry for not filming it, but I just shaved down the wood really nice, made it all smooth. Then I took the resin piece and I smushed it onto the wood using this like solid building gel. So it's pretty malleable, as you can see. But once you apply it, play around with it, you know, just use it as putty and use UV light, it solidifies and it's really sturdy. I also used it to clean up these flat edges which printed wrong for some reason, so I just added those little bits there and it's like really sturdy. I'm really pleased with this material. Here's some footage my mom took of me of starting to work on the blade of the piece. Here's me beating my wood. Yeah, we went to the park, used an axe to get more of the bigger chunks off the sides. Then back home I took this saw and kind of gently tried to remove more material. I employed this kind of technique of brushing it along, which worked out pretty good. It did leave a lot of scuffing and marking, so I decided to go to the park, and here I'm just having a quick snack break. Noticed the knife I have and the one I'm making is like, they look the same, but yeah, I was just using a normal kitchen knife. Didn't really have like a proper woodworking knife, or I don't know what that would really even be, so whatever, it did the job well. My hands got pretty tired, but I did get it a little more smooth. Here's some calming footage. I'm gonna take a pause so you can listen to the birds. And so I ended up with this bad boy, which I took home and started working on it with my drill bit, sanding it. I've really been loving using this tool. It quickens the process so much. I mean, I don't know what I would have done. I probably would have ended up like hand sanding all of these scratches and scuff marks, but this really speeds up the process. I'm just really going at it. Here I'm making sure the tip of the blade is well attuned. Here with the base, I was making it more smooth. You can see like it doesn't go to an edge. The blade edge kind of just smooths out towards the base. Yeah, I was trying to flatten it, get the deep grooves smooth. Trying to be careful towards the tip here because I didn't want to take away too much material. That's why I kept it really thick throughout this process. Here I'm just tuning in the silhouette. And then eventually I had to just take out some sanding paper and do it by hand. So here I'm going along the edge, really smoothing it out, trying to define the edge where it kind of slopes down, these curves and all that, and ended up with this lovely piece. It's really smooth to the touch. And when I put it to the handle, you can see it actually looks pretty proportionate. I like how it comes at this angle and all the lines kind of flow into each other. I think it looks really cool. Okay, now that I've got the blade, I was looking at it. I'm showing you the bad side. As you can see, there's this mark here, which I can't do much about because this is actually where the core of the branch runs through. You can see here at the bottom, there's like 3 stems of the branch. And it's all soft, like the core is soft. So good thing it comes out of the wrong side because you're gonna see the front. As you can see, I drew on, just looks like shapes really, which is the intent, but these are actually letters. So it's meant to be read this way. It says krivis. So this is written in the femur script. I have a video on it, you can check that out. It's essentially just the Latin alphabet, but different font. Literally same thing, different font. So this is K, R, I, V, I, S. In Lithuanian history, when we were still a pagan country, Krivis was like the highest priest kind of thing, like chief of the pagans. I don't know how you would describe it, but so I wanted to have some sort of inscription, and initially I wanted it to occupy the whole of the blade somehow, but I think having it close to the blade edge is a really nice accent. Now obviously I just drew it on with pencil here. I'm not just gonna leave pencil. I was already experimenting with engraving. As you can see, this in particular is, I think, how I'm going to do it. Now listen, it's pretty finicky. I mean, this doesn't look perfect. It is pretty difficult to like work around with a curve because there was a lot of these curves and stuff. But I mean, if I really fuck it up, I do have a lot of thickness to work with. So I guess I could just sand it down and try again. But I would prefer to keep it pretty thick. Okay, so this is what I've got so far. I think it looks really decent here when the light catches the edges. If I just do some of this, I think it'll help. Yeah, that sharpened it up a little bit, but I'm not too concerned. I mean, this isn't machine made, it's handmade, and so. And the next step was getting the blade on there, so I made some incisions into the resin piece using my drill, nail, cut the nail off. Yeah, so I could stick the blade onto these and have some nice support. Used some gel to fill in the base there, some cracks, and it's on there, but it has a gap. So I just stuffed some more gel in there. I already started kind of doing some swirly stuff. These rings sort of going like that. as if it's enveloping the wood. But I ran out of the gel, so I bought some more, and I'll just wait for that to come. I'm really satisfied how this is coming out. We're almost like just gonna see, like, you know, how the finished structure of it all is gonna look. I feel like I've grown to enjoy this nude color of the resin here, matching the wood. It's just the only caveat is the fact that the gel that I'm using is white. Because if you look here, it kind of just looks like it's made out of one piece. Like, this could pass as like being made fully out of wood. But I think I will end up painting this crossguard in chrome. The wood itself, I might use some sort of finish. I'll look into what kind of finishes I can use, but that's more for the future. The next step will be adding some more material here around the base of the blade and getting the crystal inside and actually encapsulating it a little bit with the gel as well. Alright, so for the next few minutes, I'm basically gonna just do a little voiceover up to like the finished product. I actually ended up just finishing it. It really happened all kind of fast, but you know, here you see me molding the gel. I did my best to make it smooth, but at the end you can still kind of tell it's all just whacked together. But at this point I just didn't really care, to be honest.
Back arching, leg shaking, dick throbbing, fist clenching, ear ringing, mouth drooling, ass clenching, nose sniffing, eye watering, eye rolling.
What you see me doing here is plugging up the hole in the back using this little piece, teardrop looking shape I made with modeling clay, because the nail gel didn't work that well, so I had to use a different material, but it fits in quite nice. Then I stuffed the crystal on there, wrapped in wrapping paper. I tried to do some shapes there. It was kind of tricky, so this is all I ended up doing. Not too much. And then followed some masking of the wood, where I just kind of taped around, cut around the edges to get this nice mask going, so I could spray paint without worrying about the wood getting painted. Then I just quickly wiped it with some alcohol to get rid of any oils, so that the lacquer that I ended up putting on top sticks to it well. And this lacquer helped the chrome that I'm painting on now kind of just shine a little more. So I sprayed the front, the back. I ended up just going with spray paint. That's the easiest, cheapest thing. Here you can see I printed some chain links. They're really small. I'm actually really surprised they printed that well. I had to glue them by that middle point with like using some tweezers, some super glue. It was pretty meticulous, but I got that amber piece on there, looking really good. It's staying on there. I had to paint that quick as well. Then I just took all the tape away. It was pretty satisfying. There was no leakages. All was good. Some nice peeling action here. The crystal reveal. Wow, wow, very magical, yes. And really the last thing for me to do was to put on a nice layer of wax on the wood. I mean, I don't know that it did that much. It just kind of, you know, prevents moisture building up on it. It's kind of useless, but I think it made the wood just a little more lively looking, like the blade compared to the handle here. So I did the handle as well, and that really, like, bro, that's it. Like, what? The very last thing I worked on, though, were these hooks, which I used to mount the dagger onto the wall. I modeled them in Blender, tried to keep it the same organic shape so that it really blends into it, and I would say it almost looks like it's floating on the wall, which is pretty cool, and that's how it looks like mounted. I think it's sick. This video is just, fuck me, man. What do you want? That's about it, to be honest. I've not got much else to say. I made a cool thing. It looks cool in my room. Or does it? I don't know, you can be the judge. Since the start of this video, it's been months. And there's a lot of things that happened in life. And this project is kind of very representative of this time period. I'm extremely relieved because now I feel like I can finally let go of those few months of my life. And that's with a lot of the creative stuff that I do, whatever it is. It kind of always symbolizes a sort of progression, you know, of I like to think as phases in my life. And to end the video off, I'll show you some nice footage and images I took of the bladder, the dagger. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching.